Stranger Things Season 5, Episode 3. Things are heating up. This is what we're here for. I'm Floppylegss. If you don't know who I am, I do loads of reviews, talking about TV, film, whatever I want to talk about, I'll talk about it. Drop a sub, I'd really appreciate it. Let's get into this episode. This to me feels like now we're back into the swing of things fully. You know, the group are together, doing their little trap, you know, working together in weird, wacky ways to try and find a solution to their problem. And the whole sequence there with the Demogorgon, that trap, was unreal. It was so good. I still have to get out of my head sometimes about Stranger Things, about how, you know, they're just kids able to deal with such heinous things, but they've been doing it for a few years now, so they're used to it at this point. But yeah, the whole different sequence for that was amazing. And you know, there's more to this episode outside of that. You know, we learn a little bit more about Vecna and his plan to basically just take all the kids. Now, I don't really understand that, because Vecna in the past was going through and targeting people that were, you know, had some trauma or were vulnerable. I guess you could argue that children as a whole are vulnerable, and that's maybe why he's targeting them to, again, you know, have a stronger bond to the other side, not in the upside down. And then we also find out that through Elle's, you know, torturing, investigation, interrogation on the military man, that Vecna's being trapped behind a kryptonite wall or something like that. First off, how are the military getting Vecna? Out of curiosity, don't really understand how that works. What I didn't understand was how she got into his mind and was able to access things that he never saw or went to. You know, he didn't go to those areas. So yeah, I found that quite funny. Or maybe he was withholding information. Fair enough. I think there's a few things that this episode done, and it's first off, the Netflix style of, I know this next episode 4, is going to be absolutely mental. It's going to end on a cliffhanger and make us all want to desperately see what happens next, and we have to wait till Christmas. That's going to annoy me. I already am just saying that now. But I can already see what they're doing. They're laying the groundwork for the deaths, okay? This is another Floppylegss prediction coming in. Jonathan's dead. Jonathan is a goner. You had Mike in the first episode saying it can end all in a happy ending. What summarizes a happy ending more than a marriage, a proposal? Jonathan wants to propose to Nancy. Nancy or him are going to die. I think it's going to be more him. It feels like Nancy might be the one to die. I think it's going to be Nancy. Because Jonathan wants to propose. Steve still loves her. Neither of them can have her because she will fall on her sword and save the day and die. That's what I think is going to happen. That's my prediction. Floppy prediction. I'll tell you what else I predicted. I wrote it down. I write down notes while I'm watching it. And over here I say, Max is watching in the bushes. That reveal at the end was so obvious. Or it wasn't, and I'm just a genius. I'll go for that one, actually. But, of course, it means Max is in this upside-down fake area that Vecna is built. That's how I'm reading it. He's built this fake area to manipulate the people that he's going to end up entrapping, the kids. And potentially that could be to do with him to try and escape the military people. I don't know. It's a bit up in the air still. There's still a lot more episodes to go, of course. Obviously, only one that is out at the moment. But that is where we're at right now. I think also we could be looking at Joyce being up for grabs. She could be the one to go at some point. I think the realm that she's in, the way she's talking to Will, saying she's never going to feel comfortable with, she's always going to worry about him. And, you know, she feels like she owes him because she was a poor mother, in her words and what have you. Yeah, I think that's setting up something there with Joyce as well. I do hope greatly that Eleven and Hopper don't just stay in the upside down the whole time. I really want them to be back involved in some way, shape or form. I imagine again that will be in the culmination of it all, near the back end of the series. It does feel a little bit different so far this season. Of course, we know it's the end of it all and the stakes are so high and there's things going on at all times, but I appreciate that they are still, you know, having those meaningful conversations and having little moments and tidbits here and there, especially with Robin and Will once again. I think Robin kind of sussed out what Will was getting at, and I'm really intrigued what they do with that. I don't think Will and Mike are the end game. I don't think they'll end up, you know, falling in love, because Mike's not shown any inclination of that being the case. But I do think Will obviously has feelings for Mike, and I think he'll voice that at the end of the season, or in his dying words. Oh, maybe that's another prediction. Too many predictions in this video so far. What I'm trying to say is I'm enjoying that there's still, even with the stakes, they're allowing some time for those little conversations here and there. You know, I think Steve and Dustin are really struggling this season so far because of the fact that Dustin is grieving Eddie, who was his replacement sort of, you know, figurehead in his life, where Steve was in the previous seasons before. So there's like a little bit of turmoil there where Dustin don't necessarily want him to be that person for him anymore. And, you know, hopefully they end up sorting that out. One of the other things I want to say, though, is like overall, they're all going to prison. They are all going into prison. They've kidnapped a family and they've driven into gardens and like just caused absolute just turmoil on the streets of Hawkins. This leads me perfectly into the highlight of the episode.
It's the highlight of the episode.
Wake up! Dad! Erica, I told you to call 911!
And I told you to eat your damn pie.
It's the highlight of the episode.
I can't lie, Erica turning into some like crazed serial killer. Eat the pie, eat the pie. Bang, I'll inject you if you don't. I thought that was really, really good. I think Erica is probably one of the most loved characters in the show. When she was first introduced, she was fantastic. And just seeing her like that, just come into it and be, yeah, that was hilarious. It was hilarious. And then they obviously set up the trap in the house. But bloody Derek took off his mask and now Vecna's coming for them. I'm intrigued to see how they're going to leave me after episode 4. I realized this video in like episode 1, 2, and 3, people might not click on, but I think episode 4 will be what people are wanting to click on. And I wanted to do a video for each episode just to see my build up to get to the point where I'm going to be really annoyed. I can already feel it. There's going to just be the biggest cliffhanger going. We now have Max introduced again. She's trapped in this world that Vecna's created within the Upside Down. You got that. Then you got Vecna and Demogorgon coming for, you know, I'd go ahead and say a weaker team. You've got Joyce, Robin, and Will. You know, they're very vulnerable. So they're going to be coming after them. I think we could see someone die in this next episode. And I'm not prepared for it. I'm not prepared for it. Hopefully it's not too bad of a cliffhanger. If you're seeing this video, I imagine you've already seen episode 4, so wish me luck. I'm about to go into it now. If you're not subscribed, guys, I'm talking everything Stranger Things at this current moment in time. I'm going to be doing videos for every episode in the future as well. We're doing some tier lists, and of course, after this inevitable, because it's Netflix, inevitable cliffhanger, I'm going to be doing, you know, character tier lists and theories of what's to come in the next final episodes. Wish me luck. Drop a sub, and I'll see ya when I see ya.